bringing it on over to the Netherlands, to compulsory purchase and close up to 3,000 farms to comply with the EU environmental rules. So in the Netherlands, they're going to be closing down. They're going to basically force farmers to sell them up to 3,000 farms to comply with the EU environmental rules. Now, I want to go to this tweet next from Kim.com. And he asked, how utterly incompetent are EU leaders? First, they join suicidal sanctions against their number one energy supplier. Then they join a proxy war against their number one energy supplier. Then the pipelines of their number one energy supplier are destroyed. Now they pay 4 times more for gas from the United States. Not only is the EU no longer competitive because its industry can't be profitable with these new energy prices, now the EU industry is moving to the US because they are giving handouts and cheap energy. A lot of that was brought forth by you know who, big bad orange man, Mr. Donald Trump. The deindustrialization of the EU, perpetuated by the United States, is now in full motion. We are talking about trillions in losses for Europe in the next decade. This is an unprecedented and premeditated transfer of wealth from the EU to the US and a willful destruction of prosperity. EU citizens pay the price, but somehow Russia is the enemy. Wake up, you fools. These guys are completely tapped in, and this is why. I mean, just those few accounts that I went over, these guys have been set off, and these guys have been leading the front here on actually saying how it is, you know. And it's funny to watch how activated these guys have been lately. And I feel like over the last 2 to 3 years, people just said, "F it, I'm sending it." And it's awesome to see with Robert Kiyosaki, Elon Musk playing his part. Kim.com, he's a real guy that, you know, has been in the game for a long time, early on in cryptocurrency, right, with what Kim.com did and, you know, dealing with the United States government, obviously. But what is up with this sacrifice of the European Union? I mean, the standard of living that's just been wiped out over there is much worse than what we're seeing here in the United States. The United States is lagging because we have this reserve currency status, and because, like he says, we have an unprecedented and premeditated transfer of wealth from the EU to the United States, right? And here in America, what they're doing now with the current group in charge, let's call them that, is they're making you pay to play, and that's getting completely exposed. And the whole money laundering operation being completely exposed further with the FTX saga and the continuation of that story. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.